Hello guys, today we're gonna be asking my mom about the thing. Go ahead. Residential schools. Continue. Go.
Okay, so we're talking about immigrant families.
First, introduce yourself and say who you are.
David's mom.
Okay, now go on.
Alright, so we're talking about these families that are considered indigenous peoples of Canada, the Inuit family that moved to the high Arctic. So, David, tell me what you knew about the Inuit families.
Inuit?
No, the Inuit tribe.
I know about the Inuit. And the Haudenosaunee and the indigenous. I just don't know about the Inuit.
It says right there. I don't know. Maybe it's, what does that mean? Inuit.
The Inuit are probably some kind of people.
There are 7 Inuit families from Inuit.
They're probably like one of group. They're probably one of the indigenous groups.
Yes.
That was separated from their families.
They're not a group. What it is that Inuit is a place in Quebec, right? And the Inuit tribes came out of that part. So Inuit is a place in Quebec. So 7 families who were Inuit families came out of Quebec. Why did they? What made them leave Quebec, David?
The government.
What did the government do?
They fought. They're scared.
Huh?
They were very scared.
The government was scared.
And they wanted to, and they thought that people might steal the land.
So they moved them to where?
So they moved them to the Arctic,
Okay.
where they almost starved and died.
Why did they almost starve and die?
Because it is freezing in the Arctic.
And there's not really a lot of fruits and vegetables, right?
And they didn't have any knives to kill any bears.
Yeah. So do you know the place called Nunavut?
What?
Nunavut.
Never, I've heard of it.
So Nunavut's a place. It actually is one of the most recently added territories in Canada, right? And it's a place where a lot of the indigenous tribes live, like the Inuit. So in Nunavut, things are double the price of anything in Ontario. So if gas is $2 in Ontario, it's $5 in Nunavut. If eggs is $4 in Ontario, how much do you think it would be in Nunavut?
Probably a lot more.
No, I said double, so it's 2 times 4.
That would be about 12.
No.
Wait, no, 2 times 4 is 8.
Yeah, so if you pay $4 for a crate of eggs here, in Nunavut, it's $8. Is that fair?
No.
Right? And these people don't even have no money.
Their money got taken away.
Yeah. So let's talk about the students, the indigenous students in Thunder Bay. Right? So these people, why did they?
They didn't have any. Their community didn't have schools.
They didn't have schools.
So they sadly had to go to the residential schools.
Okay.
And they died. Let's talk about some of the people that our teachers are talking about. That my teachers are talking about.
So what?
For example, have you ever heard about the book I Am Not a Number? The girl was taken away from her family and she was given a name about a number. Now, Mom, discuss that.
I don't know much about that. What do you know about it?
It's just like, why will you give someone a name that's a number?
When you don't value who they are, when you don't care about their names, or because their names are too hard to pronounce.
They didn't care about them.
Yeah.
For example, Udaman, the famous usher you see now, she was taken from her. She really wanted to go to residential school, and she went there. However, she did not know that there would be evil people there and that she wouldn't be able to read. She wouldn't be able to read for a while.
Okay. So why did she want to go there?
As soon as she really wanted to learn how to read.
Oh, okay.
But when she learned how to read, she really wanted to go home, but she couldn't because she had to stay there until she was old enough to go. She had her name taken away, her life taken away, her family taken away. She could not see them. The indigenous people could only go back to their families in the summer, guys.
In the summer. And they had to go to these residential schools for what reason?
They had to go there to learn, and just because that people wanted them to, not because they didn't want to, because the outsiders wanted them to. They didn't have freedom there. They were taken away without hesitation.
That's sad. How does that make you feel?
Sad.
It says that
If you're indigenous and watching this, I prefer you. I say indigenous in the comments. Continue. What? Continue.
What is the so these residential schools came up, they were around since the 1940s, it says.
Yeah.
Do you know any of the names of the residential schools?
Well, no, I just call them residential schools.
One of them is called Cross Lake Indian, and then there's one that's called Copper Mine Tent Hostel.
Okay, Mom, can I have the paper? I'm gonna read it to them. Give me a second, guys. Between Inukjuak families moved to the high Arctic. Between 1953 and 1955, the government of Canada moved 7 Inuit families, to 92 people, from Inukjuak to Quebec to several places in the high Arctic. People in the Arctic hunted, fished, and gathered berries and other grasses to eat. The ground was almost always frozen, so they could not grow fruits or vegetables. Education in indigenous communities. Deaths of 7 indigenous students in the Thunder Bay, the responsibility of all Canadians. The black arrows point to where the high school students lived before they moved to Thunder Bay. Between 2000 and 2011, 7 students from First Nations communities in northern Ontario died while they were living in Thunder Bay. They were going to go to high school there because there is no indigenous schools in their own communities. What?
I hope that's not what this is about.
What?
That police officer and this girl.
Yeah, it's about that, guys. We're on a highway right now. We're going to London for appointment. Anyways, many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis children had to go to school far away from their homes and families. These were called residential schools because children had to live at the school. In the far north, the same students slept in tents and then went to class in a building. Students could not keep their own names, language, or clothing. Some became sick and died. Land treaties. For a very long time, indigenous people in North America moved from place to place in search of hunting and fishing. Some groups might stay in one spot for years if they found good farming land. Once Europeans came over in search of new land and first, life changed their indigenous people. People from Europe believed that land could be owned, and that the earth was meant to be shared freely among everyone. As Canada became a country, governments reformed. The governments told indigenous leaders that they could live on land set just aside for them. They did not tell them that this land would be good for hunting, fishing, or farming. They could no longer go wherever they wanted to find food. The government of Canada made treaties which said where First Nations could live. Often the First Nations people were promised money or other things that they never received. There are more than 2,000 reserves in Canada. Arctic. The government of Canada was worried that the United States or other countries would claim the far north if no Canadians were living there. So they sent some Inuit families to the far north to live. There was almost no hunting or fish, and the families almost starved. Métis land. More Europeans came to live in Western Canada to settle on Métis land. The government gave the Métis new land, but it was not the best land for them to live and grow. The Métis began to move to other parts of Canada and no longer live close to each other. Well, that's all. Have a good day.